Good morning. So I'm tired and cold. There we go. Right, let's have a look at the chat. So, greetings everybody. Hi, audio to the eyeballs. How you doing? Smart Alec, hey. You a cream or sugar guy? Neither. I've just got low fat milk in my coffee. Someone get him a new thermos for Christmas. I'll be getting myself one. Rest assured. Smart Alec, there will be a new thermos flask. Because I'm deeply, and have been for a while, unhappy with the one I currently use. It's the worst thermos flask I've had for a very long time. Oh, where's my chat gone? It's behind you. Yeah. WC. Good day. Excellent. Well, yesterday's stream was pretty good. Watched a little bit of it back. Very good. Really enjoyed doing the 3-note per string pentatonic stuff. It was only, probably a good thing this, the tip of the iceberg. Apart from that, it's an entire mission to go on 3 notes per string pentatonic scales. I think the most challenging thing about it is actually embedding it into your playing with all of your existing 2-note per string stuff as well. I think that's where the real challenge is, and also the real good stuff. Oh, there's Jacob. You're making a coffee. And I think today, I don't think we are going to make, we're going to have a blast at making some deep house music. So I had a brief listen to deep house music on Beatport. So I just typically, normally, right? Just as a tip for listening to, when you start getting into like the dance genre of stuff, what do you think about the new Polychrome plugin? What do I think about it? I'm not thinking about anything about it at the minute. But I will be thinking about it tomorrow. That's for sure. 100%. I'll be thinking about it tomorrow. And possibly tonight. Yeah, Twitch. I don't really go on Twitch anymore. It was good at the time, I quickly got it monetized, which was exciting, but, so what was I saying? Oh yeah, so deep house for guitarists, that's what I'm thinking about doing at the moment. So, I was listening to Beatport music, Beatport, which is the biggest DJ pool. So if you're ever interested, in dance music, right, for a bit of inspiration, for a bit of a jam or whatever, and you're unsure where to start, okay, the one good thing Beatport is, it's very good at curating stuff, alright, so it's very, very clear in the genres. So I think they put things in the genres quite well, and it's not as confusing as other places. So if you want to get a feel for a particular genre of music, then Beatport is the place to go. That's step one. Okay. Step 2 is to pick your favourite genre. So, and I would demonstrate all this on YouTube, but I would get a copyright strike. But step 2 is to then select the genre that you're interested in. So for us, it would be deep house. And then start listening to deep house. Now, the way it'll be presented to you is you'll get the top 10 and then you can make it into the top 100. And you can just quickly preview each track, and what it'll do is it'll give you a bit of the drop, which is where all the music's in and it's all kicking off, and you'll get a bit of a breakdown. Interesting enough, when A&R for dance labels audition songs, when the A&R doing the A&Ring thing, they never really listen to the full track. They'll just look at the waveform, and then they'll just pretty much go to the bit before the breakdown, have a listen to how it comes out, listen to the breakdown, and then listen to how the drop kicks in. And if they like it, then they'll give you a shout. But that's their quick shorthand way of listening to things. So what does that tell you? It tells you just have your breakdown and your drop sorted, which is pretty much the bulk of a dance track. But it's all in the contrast, isn't it, between that breakdown and drop. But anyway, so you'll have a listen to your top 100 Beatport tracks, and then when you find a track you like, okay, it'll be by a particular artist. Well, you could go and listen to that artist, but what you'll find is they'll probably do quite a variety of different genres of music. So you can have a listen to different genres within a genre, or they might go, they might do a deep house track, but then they might do a melodic techno one and what have you. But if you're interested in that particular style of music and you want to hear more of that style of music from other artists, then the way that I would listen to things would be I would listen to the labels. So I would then look at the label that was signed to, and then I would start looking at the label's top 10, top 100. So then you'll go to the label and they'll have their top 10 of what's been most successful for that label. So it's a good way of finding new music. Why doesn't drum and bass work with heavy guitars? Well, I don't know. Of course, drum and bass can work with heavy guitars. Easy. It's just drum and bass. Hold on. Yeah. Why wouldn't it? Why wouldn't it work? That's interesting. Why wouldn't it work with heavy guitars? It depends what type of drum and bass it is. If it's like pendulum, that's going to work with heavy guitars, isn't it? Because it's made to be like that. But if you think of guitars as if we think about it in frequency, guitars are very heavy guitars, mid-rangey. There they are, covering quite a frequency spectrum of power from 120 hertz upwards. Well, in one thing in that's probably quite good in drum and bass that would be good for heavy music is usually the bass is below the kick drum, so the basses are usually quite subby, and the kick drum tends to not have hardly any sub on it and very, very short. So the nature of the kick and the guitars are going to work together, and the sub bass frequency is going to be lower than the guitars. So, if you're thinking about it, if just the drums and the bass, that's going to work, isn't it? And then you're just in competition with all the higher parts. Now, usually with heavy guitars anyway, you get a lot of hiss on the top end, and you're usually rolling quite a bit of that off, sometimes down to 6K, right? So then you've got a lot of sort of top end that you can then refill with stuff. And drum and bass has like a lot of cymbals in it, so you'll get lots of rides in there and percussion and things. So there'll be a lot of airy percussion on the top of drum and bass. So I think, and the snares are usually quite small and snappy. So I think drum and bass would be perfect with heavy guitars in that respect. I think if you're doing a more Goldie track and you're trying to put a heavy track over big ambient patches and stuff like that, then there's a lot more information there, and you're going to lose. Somebody has to lose the battle. Is it the ambient pad or the heavy guitars? So you just got to think about. And I mean, this problem would be in any music. You've just got to think what are the most important elements? So who are the winners? Who are getting up front? And then who's being put in the back? Or a picture, who are the main characters? And then who's in the background? And how does that space work in terms of frequency? So I hope that answers the question. I pigeonholed my own thinking and playing for so long, thinking shred was just a metal thing. No, shred can be anything. Anything can be anything, to be fair. anything can be anything. You can cross genres. You can you can shred on anything. I mean, McRocklin Hutch was shredwave. I don't think anybody the term shredwave hadn't been invented. I don't think till we invented it. And then you had a shredwave, so anything can be a wave. That's one of the good things I like about like the 80s like synthwave genre, okay, as it can be, the genre itself can be very, very varied, so it keeps me interested. Like when I was producing a lot of dance music, I'd be like, right, okay, this is 122 BPM, 124 BPM. It'd always be around there. When you're doing synthwave, you can be right up into the 130s, and then you can suddenly be down to like 70 BPM doing a vaporwave, so the tempo variation was a lot bigger, and also the range of instruments you're using is a lot bigger as well. So there's just more to do, more fun to be had, and it didn't feel as strict in a genre. Probably because like the labels around it, apart from a few, are quite small anyway. So I think a lot of artists will tend to self-release on labels anyway, which is another interesting thing for an artist, because if you're self-releasing on your own label, you can put out whatever you want. If you do what I did with dance music and you're wanting to get on certain labels, then you have to understand what that label's artistic manifesto is, and then play into it a little bit, but also play into it bringing your own unique identity to some degree. So it's quite, like at times that can be quite hit and miss, and a bit designy, a bit crafty. So that's like one of the problems with like that kind of dance music. Doing it that way is you can become a bit of a craftus, and you need the support of those bigger labels anyway to further your career. Because they have big DJ pools and things like that. So when you sign to a label, they'll put it out to all of their DJs and stuff. And you get, so it's easy to kind of clock up your presence online, because you get signed to a label and their fan group will come and listen to your music. So it's good from that point of view, but from a creative point of view, it's not the happiest place you could possibly be in. But I would still recommend doing it, if you want to quickly get, plays on Spotify and stuff like that. And certainly release on other labels is a good thing to do. Certainly kind of dabbled with it with McRocklin and Hutch. We did a remix for Rod. I can't remember what his label was. And we also did, we've been on New Retro Wave, We Are Nation a couple of times. Mr. Suicide Sheep. So we've been on a few different labels, but I don't think any of those are actually exclusive. I think we're still released on our label as well. In fact, we did. But it's an interesting game to play, the label one, So Deep House. That is an example of not a deep house track, so we won't be using that. We won't be using those drums. We're going to use something slightly different. The Prime Thanos Arctic Empire. What's that? Oh, you'll have to clarify a little bit, Jacob. And also anybody else who's on here, do give me a like. Now, we've got, I think, huge YouTube channels. Right, for labels, yes. I'll check those. Good idea, actually. I'll check those out. Playlist makers. Excellent. Thank you, Jacob. You see, I should have known that. I didn't. All right. So I'm just thinking while I'm having my coffee, what's the best way to do this? And I think probably the best way to do this is, rather than me pulling a kit up, is to actually just make the kit while you guys watch. Because I think part of it is sound selection. Okay. selecting the sounds. So I might do 2 kits, and I'll do one where I just select from any drums, right, and try and get it into the ballpark. Okay, and then I'll do one maybe that's a specific pack. But I'm trying to think which one would be the best way. Specific pack, or we'll do specific pack first, and then we'll do another kit where we just select out of any drums. Okay. Because at the end of the day, we don't have to just get like now. You can get like artist packs, can't you? Of like whoever's like the hot deep house producer, and you can get that pack, and you can technically use his sounds, which is fine. But I'll show you about it a bit. I'll show you some of the packs that I use. Will be within EXO as well, because it's just easier to do. And I'll just show you kind of how to go about that. Some useful information. Also, it's been a while since I've done dance music, so I'm trying to remember what packs were what. Okay, on this tiny little window. But we'll get there. We'll get there. All right. But yeah. So the reason I just happened to stumble on the deep house genre, and I thought, that would be quite. It's all right background music, isn't it? And I think it lends itself to sort of improvisation on whatever instrument you fancy doing, But I must admit, having been shredding on guitar, I struggled in the car because I can't in the car I can't fast forward on my screen, which is like crap. Like I drive a BMW Z4, new one, and I've got like the screen, and you would have thought I could just drag or click forward or do something, and I can't. I can just skip to the next the next song. And the problem with that is with dance music, right? A lot of these tracks, you just get the drums. So it's like for ages, right? And I'm like, oh, come on, hurry up, get to the track. And then I get sick of it and I flick to the next one, and then it's the same thing. And then you flick to the next one, and you just have to give up and go, right, I'm switching off. I'll just listen to it. But I was wanting to quickly scan through loads and loads of tracks just to get like a feel of it. So deep house artists that come to mind are, off the top of my head, although there aren't many. If you want to listen to the genre, Defected Records is pretty good. I always like Defected because it's got this kind of lo-fi, edgy UK type sound to me, and very reminiscent of music that I would listen to in the 90s in a lot of ways. So Defected, DFTD is the other label that they have. So they spell it DFTD. You have artists like Sonny Fodera and people like that. Defected. And then their other label is DFTD, I think. So that's two. That's to listen. You can listen to those. Would love to do a tune. Brilliant. Yeah. So, that reminds me. So, anybody who's on here who's new, David, it'd be great if you could, subscribe if you haven't already done, and give thumbs up. Is very important. So, thumbs up. Get the notification so when I'm on live, you'll know when it's all happening, which is great. And yeah, so Defected was like one of the sort of labels I listened to, but there's tons of artists. And then I think when I first started getting into deep house, because deep house was the first genre when I came back into doing as a solo artist, it was I was listening to things like EDX, who actually eventually wanted to sign some of my stuff, but I couldn't. The publisher wouldn't allow it. Oh God, it was like I was so gutted when I couldn't. I mean, that would have been the start of a very, very promising career there. But yes, EDX, really good. Um, and Nora on Pure is another artist, very big in the sort of dance and in the deep house scene. What are we talking about? All right. I'm talking about. So the theme of today was just knocking up, live looping on some deep house style music. So I was just listening to deep house. RSL. I was listening to some deep house music, and I thought it'd be great to like just plonk some guitar onto it, onto some deep house music, and hope for the best. Dogs to Armour, favourite band. Very nice. I remember them from back in the, that's the 90s, isn't it? Very cool. Right, so first things first, right? I'm just going to have a bit of a deep house jam now to get something going. And then we can have a look. So what I like to use for my drums, right, is I like to use EXO, all right? So here we have EXO, and I'm going to quickly make a deep house kit somehow. So first thing I have, and it's a good, like I highly recommend EXO to anybody, because the one thing this I love about this drum machine is because it allows you to surf all of your one shots in one page in this really cool, unique way, which I'll show you. So I have my own like startup setup, and basically what you see is this, right? And this is basically just everything on your hard drive. So you can hear all your drum like kicks, snares, hi-hats, percussion noises up there. Great. Weird noises. So it's really good to just quickly clag a kit together, so to speak. But what we can do is we can use a search engine, so it can be more specific. Now I'm going to look for something. Bear with me. That's like a deep house, like. Let's see what I can remember. Deep groove house. What's deep house and stamps? Doesn't really have anything. Deep tech house. All right, and then we've got. So this is all the defected stuff, which is quite good. So we'll have that in, and because I remember that. What else have we got? I'll probably get away with that. It's 1/1. I want to see if I can find. Alright. Paranoid techno. That'll be quite good. Right, okay. We've got some deep house, something that's in the ballpark. I'll just bring the chat over so I'm not Yeah, Nora on Pure is great. Yeah, it's right. Okay, so I think what we're doing is going to be slightly edgier. So I'll probably go for something that hasn't got much attack on it. Probably that kick. But I do like the kicks with a little bit of fuzz to them. So that's quite nice. Maybe have a snare that's like that. That's quite a nice soft hi-hat sound. Can have that. And a snappy clap. Oof. I might do something with that. Possibly not. And I think there's just one more thing I want. Let's go to percussion. Maybe something like that. And maybe something like that. And I think we're pretty much... Yeah, so... this is an absolute... So yeah, I've never seen samples laid out in such a creatively pleasing way. Yeah, it's incredible. Like basically this. So I mean, basically, I've made my kit. It's been as quick as that, and there it is. All laid out. It's now on my drums over here. So I've got So basically, what I've got. If we can look here. So when you're looking at the rack at the bottom, I've got I've got this actual plugin nested in an Ableton rack, and what that does is it allows me to access all the pads very nicely on push, but then I can also have a step time sequencer on the top here. So which is really handy, because one of the things I was having problems with was just get the tempo up a bit. I'll go for about 122, I think. One of the problems I was actually having was, how do you start off your track and be in time when you're doing the drums? And I didn't want to have a click, and then I realised actually doing it this way is the best. So as soon as I start putting in notes, it's going to start playing. There we go. That's an alright deep house beat, isn't it? Now, there's a couple of things I would do to this. If we look at the MIDI. Okay, so this is important, okay? So if you want to make something a little bit more snappier, what I like to do is get the kicks and move them slightly ahead of time, because the clap, because when you hear a clap and you look at the waveform, it's actually a series of transients, so it kind of makes sense to shove it a little bit ahead of the beat. Plus, when people are clapping in time at a party, they're usually ahead, and it can just really help the groove a bit. And you just do it by ear. And then if you want to add a swing, you can add other sort of bits of percussion in. So like if we add a snare. Right, so if we do that kind of thing, and then just move the snare back, it'll give you a swing feel. Now what I suggest you do is you just do it by ear, because that way you can have your own swing feel, all right? And then it's unique to you. I see. So a lot of the times in dance music, I used to like to have, running a bit hot there. I used to like to have a little bit of a garagey sound to it. So I'm getting that garage sort of vibe off that snare. And that's it. We're pretty much, we're pretty much ready there for action. So now, that's the electronic bit done. And feel free to ask any questions. Hyperplexity. Hi George, how you doing? And anybody who's on here new, do subscribe, right? And like. Right, so need some chords, don't we? Tune. That's always a good idea. All right. I suppose the trick now is just to play something that makes you feel good. That could work. Get your hands in the air. There we go. Deep House number 1. Right, what do we reckon to that? I imagined I was in 2 places, either by somewhere nice in Ibiza or by the pool with my little setup, playing while people have fun, doing what they're doing. And also on one of those mountaintop ski resorts. And I think I quite liked my imagination, the mountaintop ski resort, looking out at the mountains and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, the places music takes you. Very nice, yeah. It's a bit vanilla, isn't it? It's like, you know, I was desperately trying to get the shred to work there. But your thoughts on Guitar Deep House? I mean, you could, yeah, we could make a bit more of it. You know, you could have. Let me have a think here. What happens if I put this on? So we get something different here. Well, it's definitely got an atmosphere to it, doesn't it? So I suppose this time we could try messing about with the bass. Good evening, Mike. There we go. Second jam. Break time. Oh, we're doing for time. Wow. It's like 2 minutes past 7 already. So, we... Just get myself onto a different patch there. So, we already did... Well, we did a lesson yesterday on 3 notes per string. I mean, anybody who was here from yesterday who saw that stream on 3 notes per string pentatonic scales, have you got any questions that you would like me to cover now in the last sort of like little bit? Because if there's anything you're wondering about, anything at all about technique or how to use what we're talking about in a practical way, do say now, because I've actually got some music. I can do some practical demonstrations now. It's very specific to what we were learning yesterday. Having said that, there was also some other stuff that I covered earlier on in the week. So if there's anything there, do say. Other than that, I'm struggling along here. Honestly, it's freezing down here. I'm trying to keep my hands warm. Basement life. It's just like once the basement's heated, though, it's like really nice. And it's great to be in here, but the mornings are just coming here cold and trying to play a guitar. It's ridiculous. Whose idea was this? Yeah. So, any questions about deep house music, deep house drums, drum programming, anything at all you can think of there? Do post in the chat. Other than that, if you're wondering how, I kind of come up with ideas and make music really, really fast, it does come from being coached. So I am also a music coach as well. So if anybody who is interested in joining one of my coaching groups, which I highly recommend, if you find that you procrastinate and don't know where to start, or you have been making beats, you've released lots of music in the past and you've just lost your way, then joining my coaching program is definitely the way that will get you moving. Or you don't have a question now, but I know I'll have more as I progress through these sessions. Well, that's okay. I do like a bit of chat, you see. People are talking to me, it makes the stream so much more easier. But obviously, everybody's processing what they've been through. fact, I think that's the first time I've made. I can't remember the last time I ever did, like, vaguely a dance beat like that. All right, Mac. Mac loves making deep house, future bass, and trance. Yeah, I had actually very early on in my dance career back in 2014. Future house was my genre, which then spilt onto future bass, and there is like a future bass track there I did with Lisa. Can't remember her name, but really good singer. Yeah, I remember that. I'll have to have a listen to that again. Oh, I started treading the inner game of music the day after watching your video on how to practice. Brilliant. Now, I'm sure you know this already, WC, but The Inner Game of Music is a book by Barry Green and Timothy Galloway. Timothy Galloway was the author of The Inner Game of Tennis, which Barry Green, who's the musician in this collaboration, double bass player, classically trained jazz guy, was reading In a Game of Tennis and In a Game of Skiing and applying it to his music processes in practicing and becoming amazing on his instrument. And it was like literally nitrous oxide to him. And he decided, you know what I'm going to have to do? I'm going to have to collaborate with Timothy. And they made a book. So the good thing about the book is it was made practice-based. So everything that's in there has been tried and tested by Barry and his students. So, you know, it's a good methodology. And it works, and I mean, the inner game of music's literally, you know, still is, my Bible. Whenever I'm, you know, having a really difficult time practicing something, getting my head around something that's so desperately, you know, that feeling where you just want it now and you want to get all the information in your head as fast as possible, then the inner game of the music definitely gets me that clarity, you know. I mean, I was getting, I mean, it was a good thing actually because I haven't had it for years. I was getting massive, just guitar overwhelm, wanting to do too much, and then becoming unfocused. I was like pulling myself in all kinds of directions. I was like, suddenly I had lots of ideas for like licks and things like that, and I was just pulled in every direction. And of course, that inner game of music gave me clarity, you know. So there's been a few books I've really enjoyed. I'm also like kind of getting a little bit into the advancing. I've started doing The Advancing Guitarist by Mick Godric, the jazz guy from Berkeley. And again, that's a methodology book. You use it in your own way, which I love, because it really fits in with the sort of way I view education, like from a very coaching point of view. You need three of you, yeah. Yeah, well, unfortunately, we haven't got any clones. But it's an interesting problem to have, and it's it's an example of what I would say as having a really good problem. You know, like a bad problem would be I don't have any ideas. I think that's probably for a creative, that's the worst state to be in. I don't know where to start. I don't have any ideas. That's when things get a bit, you know, worrying. And you need to get out of that, and then you need to have a crap idea and just do that, and then from your crap idea, better ideas actually happen. And the route to success is actually knowing what you're going to do next. You know, if you don't know what you're going to do next, you're like, well, nothing's going to happen. So there's no data produced. There's nothing for you to look at. There's nothing for you to learn from. So how can you actually move forward? You just can't. So, you know, anybody there who's sitting there going, I don't know where to start, just start. Just do something. Record something, play something, start. Yeah. You know, as long as you do something, preferably, you know, like that's why recording's so important for musicians, because as soon as you record, like you produce data for yourself. And I always know what I'm going to do next. I mean, you know, part of my process after this live is Actually, there's two reviews really that I do when I think about it. So there's I have the review which I'll do after this session, so everybody knows who comes on here that I have this particular process that I use called wins, problems, opportunities. So as soon as this live's finished, I'll go, right, what went well? Okay. So like really the deep house guitar thing kind of worked. It was good fun. You could do a set like that. It was great practice for me to do in front of you guys, just knocking something up, especially when I didn't know, I had no idea what the result was be. So a lot of this was completely into, I was quite confident about the drums, but I just didn't know how, as an entirety, how this would all work together. So to me, it was like an experiment. I wasn't fearful, which was good, even though there was the unknown. I was very much into the process of what I was doing, which is great. So there are some positive wins, aren't there? Now I feel great, and now I can look at the problems, So there was like cold hands, there was slipping off the strings where I just did a crap noise, and then, generally a bit of wooden playing, trying to feel my way through the track. So there's things like that. Now all of that is feeling. I'm reporting on something that's gone past, and it's very difficult to know exactly what was happening at the time. So it's good to get those sort of things out. Whilst there'll be some truth in there, what we need to do is, well, that's a review of one's performance, isn't it? But then what we need to do is actually review what exists. So our thoughts and feelings will change, so they don't really exist. What I was thinking then is now going to be different. All right, so I'll go back and I'll watch the live or listen to bits of it, skip through, and I'll just analyse what was actually going on. What was Hutch actually saying at that time? What was the overall flow like? What was the music like? What was my performance actually like? Based on the music that's coming out of my speaker or my car phone or whatever. And that is the review of things that are external to your body. So just remember there are two sort of reviews: internal, external, in a game, out a game. Two different things. And when we mix them up, right, and you try saying that basically what you're feeling internally is a reality of what is actually happening, that's when things get a bit messed up. And we start mixing the emotion of our performance and how we feel like that wasn't a very good performance. Oh, I feel really bad. And then you just think the music's crap, and then, the music's not communicating anything. It's very difficult to absorb emotionally what's actually happening in the music when you're feeling like weird about what you've just done, if this makes you sense. Best analogy, as I always say, is it's a bit like trying to get to what the music is, all right? It's a bit like if you were to have a mouthful of a mouthful of mouthwash, nice minty mouthwash, and then tried to taste orange juice. Mouthwash being your inner feelings, that internal review of one's performance, and the orange juice is the actual music. Okay, so two separate things, two separate emotions that we need to be aware of, that we need to separate. I think that's like, I say this about everything I say. I think that's one of the most revealing, amazing things that I've processed in my musical career is that, because it makes everything that you do so much more clear, doesn't it? When you're practicing a lick, what is it you're actually trying to communicate? What are you actually feeling? Are you feeling for what the lick or the potential of that lick could do? Is that going to express a certain emotion? Is it going to help you tell a story? Are the feelings that you have playing that lick connected to the actual sound emotion of the lick, or is that a review on your performance? So by separating these things and having clarity, we can practice the two separate areas for exactly what they are. Now, and I think, I don't think I have that much more to say on it at the minute that comes to mind. These things tend to happen quite off the cuff as I think about my own process on here, and that's what I love about doing this channel. is, I can do something like this experiment, and it started me to reflect on myself as an artist. And you guys can think of me as some kind of laboratory rat for you to experiment on or to watch. So it's interesting. So I've got like lots of things to work on, lots of ideas and stuff that I could potentially do. And I certainly like the idea of a theme-based sort of live looping jam thing. I think that's quite good. I think one thing I'd like to do. Any thoughts on this? I need to think about. I'd like a camera for the push. I need to think, maybe hang something from the wall. That would be good, wouldn't it? Because I've got beams on the ceiling. I could maybe clamp a GoPro or something on my phone. Knowing me, it would probably fall off. But then I think we'd have a pole. Where's the pusher's just there, isn't it? Yeah, you'd probably have something hanging from the ceiling. That's the only thing. Just a thought. So, anybody got any interesting plans for today, tomorrow, or the weekend? Me, I think I'm working. However, the 20th, I'm technically off. Polychrome have got some very exciting news, which is happening today, I think. So I'll be there for that, hopefully. I'll have to check on the times of things. But there's something amazing happening there, and I'm not saying anything. Lips are sealed. Oh, Max, you're editing visuals as usual. Very good. Good. Keeps you busy. Out of mischief, as my mum would say. Guitar all day tomorrow, WC. That is brilliant. And have it. I don't want to be a killjoy, but have you structured your sessions? Is there a particular focus that you're wanting to do? Have you thought about your skill to challenge ratios? Technically, reading you in a game of music is practice. I think the thing that teaches me the most is actually just jamming over tracks and then doing little exercises over them. That's the thing I like doing most, rather than hitting a metronome. In fact, on Instagram, I don't even like. I don't particularly like hearing guitarists playing with a metronome. I don't know what all that's about. When you just. Just want to hear music all the time. I mean, I think I probably just take. Although I fall off the rails a lot of the time, I just think we should, I take having good timing for granted. It's like a must, isn't it? Like in the hierarchy of things that have to be right as a musician, timing's the one, isn't it? If you have no rhythm, like nothing makes sense at all. You could play Happy Birthday in a completely wrong rhythm and it wouldn't sound like it. And if you play out the time, and actually people are more forgiving over wrong notes than they are on the timing. So if you're dancing, yeah, you don't mind the bad, as long as the groove's going, it's all good, isn't it? As soon as you start, playing out of time and you have, oh God, don't get this is awkward. That's, when it's all goes pear shaped, so to speak. So for me, as we're talking about practice, all right, this is good. Focus on my problems that I've noticed came into my playing. Very structured sessions these days, and it's ramping up the creativity to new levels. That's brilliant to hear. I would love to know. So we've got some positives in there. I would love to know what some of your problems were, or just one problem, maybe. I don't know if you'd be happy to give an example. So I think for me, crossing my fingers over. That's the one for me at the minute. That really is an essential thing, but also a complete pain all the time because I get achy fingers. That kind of thing. So where my fingers are like crossing over each other, high arch projection, and getting in the way of each other. That's just painful. But there's a lot of benefits in crossing the second over this third finger, or the third over the fourth. We can do cool like little pentatonic arpeggios like that. But then second and third, it gets a little bit of a squeeze. Like something like that. It's like, ugh. So that's the micro practice. So to make that into a micro practice, really, you're just going in for the problem bit. Hi Blinks, how you doing? So yeah, anybody who's on here who is not subscribed, do subscribe. So anyway, that is my micro practice. Crossing the fingers. Here's another one I'll do. So just making that stretch and not having that second finger lazy. Right. So, projection music. I've been popping in here and watching some of your lessons before bedtime, and I've really been enjoying them. Oh, well, that's really good. I mean, I do actually quite enjoy doing the lessons, I must admit. It's quite fun, and, I'm sort of a student of guitar anyway, so teaching, coaching kind of go hand in hand and somewhat. So I've just realised that actually teaching this stuff actually makes me a better player as well for now. So I don't mind doing a bit of it, but if you're wanting real gains, coaching's the one. Coaching's the thing where it brings everything together and pushes you out into the world. Tanmay, you missed it, but you haven't missed it because it's going to be up there for you to hear it. So I made two sort of like little examples, and I actually got onto EXO and I did a little bit on drum selection. Okay. Deep house drum selection. So just see what you think and let me know. Now there's always tomorrow's stream. I think I'll be on tomorrow. I think, right, but I'm not sure because I've got a long day tomorrow. So it's going to be a bit. I'll put it up later on if I'm going to do it tonight. I still practice a lick that you showed on School of McRocklin class where. What? Oh wait, what's this? Oh, 15 on there. And down picking the entire lick. I wonder which one that was. What was that? A. D. Alright. Yeah, I can't remember. Such a long time ago. It was like a pentatonic lick, but all down picked as if, oh, right, yeah. You put it in Discord later, that's good. And then I'll know. And then I can clarify on that. It sounds like a pentatonic arpeggio. That's what it sounds like to me. So again, do subscribe to the channel. Please because the numbers have been up. It's been wonderful. People have been really digging the sessions this week. Probably going to be live tomorrow. New year, new coaching groups. So if anybody wants to join, now's the time to book. To join a coaching group, it is $237 a month. For $237 a month, you get me as your coach for 2 hours per week in a group of 4. And that's every month. So if it's a 5-week month, then it's 5 weeks for the same price. But it's just a recurring payment of $237. What I would recommend is making sure you can do 3 months, because there is a sort of course running behind it, even though it's coaching. We're going to learn all about the automatic music making machine, which is at the heart of everything that I do. And that's really important that you kind of get to grips with that foundation. So that's what we do really in the first 3 months. And you will have a musical psychic change, literally, and become super productivity ninja machines. There may finally be a Melody King preset, some PDSP product in the future. Sounds interesting. So, I think I'm coming to an end. There you go, Tammy. I had a revolutionary music metal change after getting the coaching. Brilliant. Revolutionary mental change. There we go. So Tanmay has been coached by me. There you go. Happy customer. That's brilliant. All right then. So thanks for that plug there, Tanmay. Brilliant. I'm off, everybody. Tanmay, watch the videos back. You'll see some deep house stuff going. Very enjoyable to jam over and fairly simple to put together. Time for bed, guys. Yeah, good night, Arch. Have a nice sleep. And now I'm going to start my day with a walk around the park and then do the school run. All right then. Bye, everybody.